Hello, welcome to my new channel, Cozy Mountain Pottery. I'm Cindy. I'm in my little home studio. It's very tiny. I live in Arizona. Now, if you're not familiar with Arizona, not all of Arizona is Phoenix, because I know a lot of people think of Phoenix and all the heat. We live up in the mountains. We have 4 seasons here. We have snow in the winter. We have below 0 temperatures, and we have beautiful summers. So I'm not in Phoenix, but I am in Arizona. So just a little bit of backstory about me. Since this is my very first video on this channel, I'm new to pottery. I'm not new to YouTube. My husband Dee and I have 2 other channels. We have an RV travel channel, Hathaway We Go, here on YouTube. And we also have a channel called Total Knee Talk, and that's Jimmy. You might hear that a lot in my videos. I have 2 dogs, Jimmy and Greta, and Jimmy is very vocal. And right now Greta wants to come in and he says, no, you can't come in. Anyway, our second YouTube channel is called Total Knee Talk, and it's all about us, my husband and I, interviewing people who have been through total knee replacement, because I've been through total knee replacement just 8.5 months ago. So in January of 25, I had total knee replacement on my left knee. It's been quite the journey. And even though I have had my wheel for over 2 years now, it really wasn't until this year that I really started diving into pottery. I've wanted to do it for a long time, but when I first got the wheel, Dee got it for me for my birthday, my 60th birthday, 2 years ago, and we were traveling a lot then in our Airstream. I did take it with me on one trip, and I was only able to use it once or twice because I realized this is a messy job. This is even though it's a portable wheel. I have the Artista Speedball wheel, and it's great and it does everything I need it to do. But I just realized traveling with it really wasn't going to work. And we traveled a lot that first year that I got it. Then by the second year, my knee that ended up being replaced, my knee was bothering me so much, I got to the point I couldn't sit at the wheel. It was way too uncomfortable, painful to sit at the wheel. So fast forward, knee surgery, getting over knee surgery, able to sit at the wheel. So really it wasn't until this summer of 2025. It's the middle of October as I'm recording this, but during this summer, I was able to start sitting at the wheel and getting into pottery. So that's my backstory. My channel, Cozy Mountain Pottery, is because I've been on Instagram for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, and my account on Instagram is Cozy Mountain Cottage. And I actually changed it to that when we moved up here into the mountains. But anyways, I love that Cozy Mountain thing, and so I loved Cozy Mountain Pottery. So that's the name for my channel. I don't have a business yet. I'm certainly not selling pottery yet. I'm still figuring out how to make pottery. What I am doing is I'm spending a lot of time on YouTube watching other potters, and I have just become obsessed with that. That's how I'm learning. I mean, I'm learning pottery through YouTube University, quite frankly, because I have taken like 2 one-time classes where they're just a 2-hour class. That's it, you're done. And then I took 1 5-week class. But most of those classes are geared for somebody that just kind of wants to come and have a fun time and throw something on the wheel and then they go home and they're all done. I want to learn pottery. So when I went to that 5-week course, that's what I told my instructor. I said, I'm not here to just make some cute little bowl and then go home and sit it on my shelf. I want to learn how to do this. So I really need help. And she did help me a lot with some of the basics, but pretty much I'm just learning it. So for those of you out there that are potters, I probably subscribe to your channel. If I don't, I want to subscribe to your channel. Some of my favorites, and I think maybe the first one I found was Simon Leach. Love him, love his style. So I really have learned a lot from Simon Leach. But Marlena the Pottery Lady, she's adorable, and I love all the things that she does, and I love all of her kiln unloads and talking about glazing and whatnot. I recently found Jeanette at Far Forest Ceramics. Adore her. I just love everything that she does. She makes the cutest little gnome mugs, which I want to try because it's just absolutely adorable. May Ceramics. She's also in the UK. MW Ceramics, the Clay Co-op. Oh my goodness, John the Potter. I mean, the West 2 Ceramics is one I just recently found. I just watched so many, and I'm forgetting about a lot of them because I do subscribe to a lot of pottery channels, and I so appreciate everything that I learned from them. So I thought, okay, maybe somebody can one day learn something from me. So I decided, you know what, I need to maybe start documenting this journey a little bit. And if nothing else, it's good for me because then I can look back and see, the progress I've made and the things that I've learned and whatnot. So I'm here to share with you the good, the bad, the ugly. Right now, it's pretty much all ugly. Okay. I got one batch. I do not own my own kiln. Where we live, can't really have one. We own our home, but we don't own our lot. Our electricity is, it's interesting. So right now I am renting space in a kiln at a pottery shop down the road from me. And the elephant in the room, is I recently, like 5 days ago, dislocated my thumb. Not a good thing to do when you're trying to learn pottery because this hand is not functional at this point. So that's really depressing, and I'm just hoping that it heals quickly because I need to get back to the wheel, you guys. It is October, I think it's the 20th today, and I'm making stuff for my family and friends for Christmas. And Christmas might be canceled because I can't get back to the wheel. So I did just pick up a bisque load from the kiln yesterday. So I'm going to try to wax all those bottoms today. But I wanted to share with you my very first glaze load. I've only done one glaze load. Okay. I've only glazed once, had it fired once at a different place, not the one I'm currently using, at a different place. I didn't know what questions to ask or even that I should. I just assumed they have a kiln, they know what they're doing, they're an art store, they do classes. But really what they do is they have bisqueware, people come in and they paint it and then they fire it for them and they go home with this cute little piece. So they fired all my bisque. Great. Nothing broke. It was wonderful. I brought it home. I glazed it according to the directions on the Mako glaze, 2 or 3 coats. So I thought, well, I don't want it to run. I've heard that if it runs and gets on the kiln shelf, that's bad. So I'll just do 2 coats. Well, anyways, take it back for the firing, the glaze firing. I go in to pick up the pieces after they're done, and oh my goodness. I'm like, I don't even have glazes this color. I mean, it was really quite awful. After a little bit of talking to the guy there that, was firing the kiln and whatnot, come to find out they fire everything in their studio at cone 05. If you don't understand what that means, it's just wrong. It's just all wrong. 05 is much cooler than what these pots should have been fired at. They should have been fired at cone 5. Oopsie. Bear with. Okay, I've already had a few technical difficulties and I've had to stop and start again. So if things look a little bit different, that's why. Anyway, where was I? All of my pots, my glaze load should have been fired at cone 5, but they fired everything at cone 05, which is much cooler. And so once I found that out, then I was like, okay, so all my pots are ruined. Anyway, I did find out that they can be refired. They already charged me $80 for the bisque firing and then $80 for the glaze firing. And he said, let me talk to my boss to find out if I can even fire the kiln at that temperature, and I'll get back with you. So we left all the things, we came home, and it's like 45 minutes away. The next day he called and said, I talked to my boss. He said that we can fire everything at cone 5, but because it's a higher temperature, it's going to cost more. So that's going to cost $120. On top of the 80 I already paid you. Yes. So basically it's going to cost me, I'm already into it $160. And now it's going to, be $120 more. So I said, okay, I will come pick up my pots. So we went and picked them all up, brought them back, and I went into a deep, dark depression. No. But I went into research mode. Okay, I need to find a kiln. Well, we had a trip coming up in our RV, which we now have a 24-foot Sprinter van, to go to Flagstaff, which is just 2.5 hours from where we live, and hang out for a long weekend with some friends that were going to be there. So I looked and I found a pottery studio in Flagstaff that offers firing services and that was willing to reglaze my pieces for me. So we took them all with us. I dropped them off the day we got there. It was a Thursday, and because she's so busy with lots of other things, anyways, I couldn't pick them up until Saturday. So I'm just waiting patiently. So Saturday I went and picked them up, and they're definitely much better, but then I realized, okay, I have a lot to learn about glazing. So anyways, that gal in Flagstaff. So if you're anywhere near Flagstaff, Arizona, and you need firing services, or you want a pottery studio, I believe she does classes once in a while too. But anyways, Wild Domestics Pottery. She was fantastic. Her name is Savannah, and I was just so grateful that she was willing to fire my pots for me. So thank you to Savannah at Wild Domestics Pottery. I'll show you a couple of those pieces. Literally, there's one piece. I think there were 25 things in that load, and there's one piece that I'm mostly happy with. Even though it dripped and I did have to do some grinding on it, at least it's pretty. It doesn't have a handle on it because at this point I didn't know how to do handles. So I'm still working on that. So let me show you a couple of pieces. Sorry that I'm getting out of the frame, but it's where we are. So this right here, it's I guess people call it a thumbler. Put the little indent for the thumb. Can you see how chalky? It's just chalk. It just feels like it's just nothing but chalk. It doesn't even feel like, the clay, feels decent, but this just feels like chalk. So that's Mako's Alabaster. Well, I didn't realize until after doing this that that's a matte glaze. But anyways, so apparently you don't want to use that. But maybe if I had put more coats, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 coats, and I'm brushing it all on, but maybe more coats would make it better. I don't know, but that's hideous. I don't even know if that's food safe. So that's, I just kind of considered all the pieces in this load to be test tiles at this point. I consider that at the beginning, but anyway, so here's another one. So now we've got lavender mist inside and on the outside, 2 coats, and then alabaster. Now, I did that because Marlena, the pottery lady, uses lavender mist and alabaster all the time, and they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. Not beautiful. What did I do wrong? Well, then I started, and then also this has got like bubbles. Can you see the little bubbles and blisters? And it just looks, it's just hideous, okay? But this came out of that same load. Now I'm using my rear camera, so I can't see what you're seeing. Gosh, and I hope it's focused. And like I said, it dripped, but it didn't stick to the kiln shelf. And so I ground it down in the spots where it dripped. But it's just, this is really pretty. Okay, and there's the inside. Hope you can see that. I hope it's focusing on the cup. So let me tell you what this is. Opal luster outside, 1 inch below rim and down, plus 1 coat of alabaster on the top half. So 1 coat of alabaster here, and then the top 1 inch and inside is stoned denim. Okay. So apparently when you layer alabaster with something else, even though I put the alabaster over the opal luster, well, now it's glossy. It's not chalky. So I learned something from that. Clearly, I learned that I need to make test tiles. That's what I learned. So anyway, yeah. So I just think I was just happy that I got that. I had some other ones that came out okay, but basically they're all just learning. It's all a learning process. But I have a lot of them that just did not come out okay. Like these little tiny bowls, again, only alabaster on the inside. So it's just chalky. And it feels awful. It just feels terrible. And so again, I'm like, okay, would that have been better if I had really put more coats in that? And then on the outside, again, I think that's opal luster. I'm trying to remember what these bowls are. I think they're number 7. Alabaster in the inside. Inside and out, and the outside is opal luster. And it just doesn't look anything like the picture of opal luster. Anyway, so that whole load was not great. Now, like I said, I just picked up my bisque load yesterday for my next batch. And not only does just the forms look better, the pieces themselves look better. I mean, I actually got a handle on, and I'm kind of liking the base, and my bottom's nice and smooth. And so I'm really happy with this bisque piece. But now I have to glaze it, and I'm a little terrified because I don't want that to happen. So I know I'm not using alabaster, even though I know alabaster can be used and people love it, but I'm not going to use it on any of these pieces until I figure out exactly how is the best way to use alabaster. So for now, I'm going to just sit down and start waxing all the bottoms of these, and then I'll probably be back and wrap up this video. I don't want it to get too long. I haven't really edited videos. My husband does all of that for our other 2 channels. So I cannot ask him to edit my videos because he also works full time. So I will be editing the videos, or I won't. I'll just be like Simon Leach and I'll just let it play and you get what you get. Maybe that's what I'll do. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm excited to glaze these. Oh, Sarah Walton Pottery. That's another one that I love. And I love her glaze videos, and I love how she shows lay it on heavy, 3 or 4 coats. Really, really heavy, and so, and I love the colors and things that she uses. Right now, I only own 8 colors of glaze, 8 different glazes. I do have a few more on order. Boy, the money sure adds up when you start doing pottery. So anyways, I have certainly learned that handmade pottery is expensive for a reason. Not only is the hobby itself expensive, a wheel and a kiln and all the tools and the clay and all the stuff that goes into it. But the time that goes into it, my goodness. I mean, this is not just a quick little thing. So anyways, all right, I'm going to get to waxing, and I'll check back in with you when I'm done with that. Okay, the waxing is done. I didn't count. I think I've got like 25 pots here, but bottoms are all waxed. And I do that because I was told to do that. Actually, because that class that I took, that 5-week class that I took, they're a big studio in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they don't want students coming in and ruining their kiln shelves, understandably. So every piece that goes in their kiln has to be wax resisted. So anyways, so that's all done. One day when I have my own kiln, maybe I'll do things differently. I don't know. I think the gal that I'm taking him to now, that's actually here in my town, which I didn't know about when I went to the first place that fired them all wrong. I didn't know about her. She's right down the street from me. But I think she might use stilts. And so I don't know if waxing is necessary, but anyways, they're waxed. That's fine. That's all good. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to start glazing. I'm nervous. I'm probably going to go and watch a couple of glazing videos again, and maybe write down some combinations that work out really well, and the order of layering and that kind of thing, because I want them to look pretty. Here's another one from that first batch. This is stoned denim, which is, the stoned denim is pretty. Look at that. Look at that. That's alabaster. What the heck, you guys? What is that? What is that? Now, my guess is most of you watching are here because you know me from Cozy Mountain Cottage. And for that, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and for hitting the thumbs up on this video. I really, really appreciate it. And you know, if you happen to be a potter and you have any idea as to what that is, why that would happen, again, it's the alabaster. Did it just not like this clay? I don't know what clay it is. I've only used 5 different kinds of clay, and some of them are a mixture of all 5 as I've reclaimed. I've done a lot of reclaiming as I've been learning how to do this. So anyhow, this one, I mean, I thought this turned out really pretty on the inside, but on the outside, I mean, the top part of it's pretty. This, again, alabaster, chalky, feels terrible. But then there's lots of pinholes, lots of blisters. I don't know about those. I still need to learn, why do pinholes happen? What can I do to prevent them? Because my understanding is if there's pinholes, they're not food safe. So anyways, it's all a learning process. I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to figure it out and get better. And so I'll just keep plugging along. So anyways, thanks for being here today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please, please, please subscribe to my channel. Just hit the subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Hit the thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you came here from Cozy Mountain Cottage on Instagram. Let me know if you do pottery, if you've ever done pottery. Just leave me a comment. That really helps. I would really like to grow this channel because I really want to get out there in the online pottery community and get to know other people. So anyways, thank you again for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.